January 25th, Sunday. You're looking at the rebuild 175-gallon tank. This was the tank that we started back in part one, where it was given to me and I had to decide basically how to fit this tank. I had some surplus equipment around the office, and I thought with that surplus equipment I could probably do this tank for a couple of $100. Well, I ended up not doing it for a couple of hundred, but probably did it for about $300. It's a 175-gallon tank. It's sitting on a stand that's 6 foot by 18 inch, and the tank itself is 30 inches deep. Now, underneath the stand is the open area, and try to dress it up a little bit. Put a board down there. Going to put some books or some knickknacks down there eventually. A lot of people talk about not liking steel stands and really wanting to get a big cabinet and that sort of a thing, a big huge hood, and to me, I think that just takes away from the tank itself. Just my opinion. I think my style of fish keeping is very minimalistic, if you will, very minimal carbon footprint, very sustainable practice. I try to, wherever possible, get my equipment from Craigslist, and this tank is no different. The tank, she was going to throw it away. Fortunately, I was there at the right time at the right place to pick up the tank, so the tank didn't cost me anything. The stand, brand new, is probably about $200, $250, brand new stand like this. You can't hardly find these anywhere. But I got this for about $80. The board itself, I just stained that board. It's a $10 board, maybe another $7 for the stain and the brush, so probably $20 for that board. So the whole setup there is, and then the paint for the stand. The whole stand right there is about $100. I mean, it's hard to get any kind of stand for $100. The other day I went to the fish store, and the guy had a 50-gallon steel stand. He wanted $85 for it, so gives you an idea. The tank itself had a compression seal or a compression ring around the entire tank. It was basically a frame, and it really was just sort of glued together, and in time it failed, and that's why the tank leaked, and that was one of the reasons why she got rid of the tank. So what I had to do was come up with a Euro brace. It's a modification of a Euro brace technique. I put lateral braces at the end points and at the midpoint, and of course you can't put it directly at the end point, because if you do, you can't get your equipment in, especially your canister filter piping and things like that. So I've got about a 3-inch gap here. Then I put the brace in, and then at the middle, this is also a transverse brace, and it also serves to act as a bridge for my glass lids, making this tank a rimless tank. I also put a little bit of tape around the end of it so you wouldn't see the water level. The filtration, I got a Marineland 360C on sale for $60, and I got an API that's good for $110 for about $60 too. What's on it right now is a Sun and another type filter on there as well. I think it's a Hydrodor. It's only worth about 50 gallons. But both of those guys leak, but not so much that I can't use them. So this is a way to sort of try to use equipment that even is probably not working as well as it can. I mean, it's working, it's just leaking a little bit. Most of the equipment here, the heaters, the water movers, and so forth, came from Craigslist. Even the algae eater, algae killer, UV sterilizer came from Craigslist. But there's no sense in buying anything from brand new, such as like heaters and blowers and things like that, when you can probably get most of this stuff on Craigslist. As far as the aquascape, I wanted a Florida look. I mean, I like all the stone and things like that I see on the YouTube, but for me, I really wanted a Florida look, and that meant coral. And so I went with these large pieces of coral in the middle there, set them up on their ends. All of this was live coral at one time, and now it's in the tank. I put some plastic plants in here, put a bonsai plant. That's some Florida lime rock right there. A little bit of lava rock, that's not so Florida, but I like the way that looked. Got the 3-foot bamboo in there. I also added blue background to the tank. It's just a piece of cardboard that I got from Hobby Lobby for about $5 each. I think I bought 2 of them. So all in all, the tank probably cost me from between $250 and $300. That's filtration, lights, stand, tank, braces, the whole 9 yards. Probably cost me a little bit more than I thought because of the braces. The bracing and so forth probably cost me $150 some odd when it's all said and done. And that's probably the cost of the tank for the most part. But you know, it's really a unique tank at 175 gallons. It's really hard to find tanks this large with this dimension, which is 6 feet by 18 inches. And what I like about the tank, it's such a deep tank. That's my 150 over there. And it's quite a bit shallower than the 170. Let's see what else about the tank. The way I set up the back of the tank, I put it sort of an angle to the wall so I could put my equipment back here. I put these little power strips. I Velcroed those to the back of the steel stand. I put the curtain in the back here to separate all this equipment from the look of the tank. That's one of the things that I think some people don't like about steel tanks is that steel tank stands is that the equipment is underneath the stand or behind the stand and it looks a little ratty. So what they normally do is that they put the curtain in front of the stand. In my particular case, I wanted to try to utilize that space, and so I put a board in there and we'll put some knickknacks in there and try to dress it up a little bit. So I didn't want the space underneath the tank to look like it normally would. So anyway, just a little bit different spin on the tank itself. What's a little bit different here is, of course, I got the Euro braces in to support in the longitudinal direction, and what I did different was the transverse braces. And I offset that from the edge so that I could get the equipment in, the heaters and blowers and filtration. And then in the middle, I use it as a bridge to support my my glass tops. It's a rimless tank. I've got LED lighting in it. These are the Fluval Extra Bright. No, Extra Bright? No, they don't call it Extra Bright. They call it, there's an Eco Bright, and then there's the one level above that. I know Marineland calls it a Double Bright, but Fluval calls it something else. I forget exactly what it is, but this is the one level above the Eco Bright, which is their basic LED. Now, this isn't good for corals or anything like that. It's perfect for this tank. And that's another thing too, you know, you don't want to buy more light than you actually need. Even though the coral light system has the full spectrum, you really just don't need that for this tank. You know, this is a freshwater tank, probably with African cichlids in it, so you know, really don't need all the extra lighting, because all that's going to do is create more algae. So, in wrapping up the video and wrapping up the series, this is my approach to a sustainable hobby. One that you can have a great looking tank without the expense of such a tank. I can't imagine what something like this, set up like this, would cost right out of the box. You know, maybe a couple $1,000s when it's all said and done, maybe more than that. But we've got it done for about $350, $350, something like that. Very excited about the tank. I'm glad it's finally up and running. I don't have all the water in it yet because I still want to put some braces on the edge. And it's just greater insurance policy is all it is. I got braces up at the top of the tank, and I got braces along the side, the ends of the tank, just to make sure that it's not going anywhere. Anyway, that's the end of the series. It's about a 10-minute video. I do appreciate everybody viewing the videos and liking and commenting and even subscribing if you were able to do that. Again, what I try to do is try to bring this hobby to as many people as possible, and that's by, educated buys through Craigslist. And I've talked about that before. Not every buy on Craigslist is a good buy. You've got to negotiate. Sometimes you got to walk away from deals. But I think it's a viable option at times, and at other times you just have to. You can buy it cheaper online, through Amazon and that type of thing. So anyway, about 11 minutes on the video. I'm going to let you go. Florida Fish 100 here, signing off. This is the rebuild of the 175-gallon tank. Over and out.